Have you ever wondered why some people seem to see beyond the obvious? Why they can read between the lines of life, sense hidden truths, and predict events before they unfold? What if I told you it's because they don't think in 3 dimensions? They think in 4. Today we are exploring how shifting into 4D consciousness unlocks the ability to see the invisible, hear the unspoken, and feel what others can't even grasp. Stay with me till the end, because this may change the way you see reality forever. 4th dimensional thinking begins with awareness, not just of your surroundings, but of time, energy, vibration, and intention. Most people live in a loop: wake, eat, work, sleep. But those who rise to 4D thinking begin to recognize patterns within patterns. They begin to see that thoughts are not just private whispers in the mind. They are blueprints shaping what's next. Have you ever had a thought and then watched it manifest? This is not magic, it's mastery. When you think in 4D, you begin to operate outside the box of linear logic. You stop asking, "What is?" and begin asking, "What's beneath this?" Or "What energy am I feeding into this moment?" You stop reacting and start responding with wisdom. You don't just see events. You see causes, vibrations, and timelines unfolding behind them. Have you felt like reality was speaking to you in codes only you could decipher? To think in 4D is to see beyond the veil. It's to know that your physical eyes only give you a small portion of truth. The real vision begins in the mind and expands through intuition. You feel things others miss. You read energies others can't name. You notice silence that carries meaning. Have you ever walked into a room and immediately sensed something off without a word being said? Time no longer feels linear. When you shift into 4th dimensional thought, you understand that past, present, and future are not separate. They are simultaneous. You can heal your past by changing how you feel in the now. You can shift your future by choosing a different emotion right now. Time becomes a tool, not a trap. Have you ever felt like a memory was calling you back to unlock a hidden power? Suddenly, coincidences become communication. You stop brushing off synchronicities. That song lyric, that repeating number, that strange dream. You know it's not random. It's a message from the dimension just beyond your physical reach. And you start listening. You start decoding. You start trusting. Have you ever experienced too many coincidences in a row to call them random? In the 4D realm, emotions are data. They're not just feelings, they're feedback. They reveal where your energy is and what reality you're aligned with. Fear isn't just fear, it's a compass pointing to what you haven't healed. Joy isn't just joy, it's a sign you're in resonance with your true path. Have you begun to notice the emotional patterns that lead to your biggest breakthroughs? Reality becomes flexible. You realize everything is energy, and energy can be molded. You stop seeing things as fixed or permanent. You start seeing them as expressions of vibration. Your job, your body, your relationships, they are reflections of your frequency. And when you raise your frequency, your entire life recalibrates. Have you seen your outer world shift the moment you change how you think and feel? The 4th dimension invites you to detach from illusion. You no longer fall for the surface level drama. You begin to ask, what's the spiritual lesson here? What soul contract is playing out? What karmic loop am I meant to break? You no longer see people as enemies, but as mirrors. Even pain becomes sacred. Have you ever experienced suffering that led to awakening? You gain access to the invisible forces that govern the visible world. Manifestation becomes natural. You begin to speak things into existence. Not by accident, but by alignment. You understand that your words carry frequency, your beliefs carry momentum, and your focus is fuel. You start creating with intention. Have you spoken something aloud and watched the universe echo it back in real form? Others may not understand. They may call you overly sensitive, overly spiritual, or lost in your imagination. But deep down, you know you're tapping into something real, something ancient, something powerful. Thinking in 4D often means walking alone, until others wake up too. Have you ever felt like you were seeing in color while others still saw in black and white? And then it happens. You begin to attract others who think like you. Souls who speak the language of vibration, who sense what's unsaid, who think in timelines and possibilities, not just problems. These are your soul tribe, your spiritual mirrors. You were never meant to walk this path alone. Have you started meeting people who feel familiar, even though you've just met? The more you surrender to 4D thinking, the clearer things become. You don't have all the answers, but you know how to listen. You know how to wait for divine timing. You know how to feel when it's right. You begin to trust your own frequency more than anyone's opinion. Have you reached a point where your inner voice became louder than the noise of the world? Once you learn to see the invisible, you realize how blind you were before. You see love in places you once saw pain. You see purpose in moments you once called meaningless. You see your soul, not just your story. You don't just live, you create. You don't just think, you expand. Have you ever felt like you were becoming more than just human? You begin to see yourself as a multidimensional being. No longer just flesh and bone, but vibration, memory, energy, light. Your thoughts aren't just ideas, they're waves reaching out and shaping your reality. The more you elevate your consciousness, the more you realize your true form was never meant to be limited by the physical. Have you ever caught a glimpse of your higher self in meditation, in silence, in stillness? Thinking in 4D dissolves the fear of the unknown, because you now understand the unknown is not your enemy, it's your creation waiting to be born. You stop trying to predict everything, and instead you feel your way forward. Intuition becomes your compass. Imagination becomes your blueprint. Have you ever let go of control and found yourself exactly where you needed to be? You become a bridge between worlds. One foot in the physical, one foot in the energetic. You start speaking truth that shakes people awake. Your voice carries frequency. Your presence shifts the room. People may not know why they're drawn to you, but something about you feels ancient, familiar, safe. Have people ever told you they feel calm or seen around you, even without knowing your story? Dreams begin to blur into reality. In the fourth dimension, sleep is not just rest, it's a classroom. You receive messages, guidance, even visitations. Sometimes you wake up with answers you didn't ask for. Sometimes you meet people in dreams before meeting them in life. It's as if the universe speaks most clearly when your mind is quiet. Have you ever had a dream that felt more real than life itself? You begin to sense portals, moments when the veil is thinner, times when your thoughts feel more powerful, your meditations deeper, your manifestations quicker. These energetic openings are not random, they are invitations. You begin to recognize divine timing not as coincidence, but as sacred alignment. Have you ever felt a strange energy shift in the air, like something important was happening beyond what you could see? You don't need proof, you are the proof. Others may demand facts, logic, tangible evidence, but your life becomes the evidence. The way you attract blessings, the way you navigate chaos with calm, the way you heal what others fear. You no longer argue with doubt, you embody the truth. Have you ever walked in faith even when no one else understood your path? Your past no longer defines you. When you think in 4D, you see your past as a training ground, not a prison. You realize every heartbreak, every failure, every misstep was divinely woven into your awakening. You rewrite your story through a higher lens. Have you looked back at your hardest moments and seen how they shaped the strongest parts of you? You start remembering your mission. You didn't come here to survive. You came to awaken, to activate, to raise frequencies. You feel the call, not from outside, but from your soul. A whisper reminding you of something ancient you promised to do. Have you ever felt like your life was meant for more? Like you've been preparing for something greater? And finally, you realize you are not alone. You're connected to a vast grid of awakened souls. Light workers, seers, star seeds, divine creators. You're all tuning into the same cosmic frequency, all remembering who you are, all rising together. In the fourth dimension, unity is the truth. Separation is the illusion. Have you felt the pull toward others who vibrate like you do? So once you learn to think in 4D, you can never unsee the invisible. You begin to walk this earth with a new awareness. Every step becomes sacred. Every moment becomes a message. Every thought becomes a creation. You're no longer just in the world. You're shaping it with intention, with energy, with love. What's your opinion on this powerful shift in perception? Have you already begun seeing the invisible forces that shape your life? Comment below and share your experience. I'd love to hear your story. And don't forget to subscribe for more spiritual insights and awakened thoughts. If you're curious to dive even deeper into multidimensional consciousness, check out the video in the description. It might just change how you see everything.